And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Legendary X-Men. This is a Marvel deck building game that you can't actually play by yourself. With this version, you need as an expansion to Marvel Legendary, so you would need the base set to play this game. This one adds in the X-Men. Specifically, it adds in the X-Men from the 90s and early years of the 2000s. Because, well, that's basically the most popular that the X-Men were at any given point. It also takes care to put in different characters from previous movies and things like that so that you can see them. But if you grew up like I did on the X-Men, this set is going to be one that's going to appeal to you. And this set has a ton of stuff, a lot of cards, a lot of bad guys, makes the game the hardest it's ever been, but also gives you some of the most powerful heroes you've ever seen. Let's take a look. Okay, well first let's start with the bad guys. We have Arcade, who's one of my favorite bad guys, especially his newest incarnation where he's just really, really mean. Here he has 5 human shields. Human shields a new thing where basically they will put bystanders on them and you have to kind of fight to free the bystanders before you can attack them. Another thing this game does is it allows us now to have epic masterminds. So if you thought that the regular masterminds were too easy, you can change to the epic mastermind. So here he starts with 8 human shields, but he also plays a random horror. There's a deck of horrors that's now included with the game. You can play with these with or without the guys who bring them, and they just make the game harder. So this one here, the mastermind is +2 to take them out. When you play a henchman villain, if you play another card, this has the mastermind is +1. When you play a bystander from the villain deck, play another card. Each player gains a wound every time there's when this one comes out. So they're all very, very, very nasty, and you can play with multiples if you think the game was too hard to begin with. So here we have Arcade. Then we have Dark Phoenix, who is extremely hard. She KOs the top card of the hero deck whenever there's a Master Strike, and each card in the deck that shares a color with it, then you shuffle the hero deck. Just extremely powerful. She's just killing people one at a time, and she wins when the deck is empty, and then the flip side of her is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. It just, I mean, I don't even know why it's in the game. I think they just put it there just in case you said, the game's too easy. Deathbird is really intriguing to me. She's an interesting one because she's not that hard, but she gets +1 for each villain in the city and escape pile, the Shi'ar. However, what I really like about her is when Master Strike comes, she basically brings a battle cruiser into the city, and her tougher version brings a bigger battle cruiser into the city. So she's pretty neat. I like her. Mojo, who's another one of my favorite villains, because you just really hate him. He has human shields, captures a human shield, and then you have to reveal a hero to get rid of him. He's probably the easiest new epic thing, maybe. But the opposite of easy is Onslaught. Remember Onslaught? Who's Onslaught? He dominates heroes. Now, when he dominates a hero, he puts those heroes underneath him, and he has a chance to kill them later on. So it's a way to put heroes underneath him. You're putting heroes from the deck, and again, the epic version of Onslaught, again, where each player starts with a hand size that's 1 less already, and he just KOs people dominate by him. Just a very nasty guy. And the Shadow King, also very nasty. He dominates people and KOs them. And his epic version here plays 2 random horrors, which makes him even harder. So they picked the biggest and the baddest of the X-Men villains to come in this set. But that's not all. We have regular bad guys too. So we have the Sheer Death Commandos. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see these bad guys better. This guy captures a human shield. So they're they're a pretty basic guy, but they're going to have a human shield, so they have to be hit twice almost, and they'll KO one of your heroes when you fight them. We also have Patrol Craft. This is another henchman. The next hero you recruit this turn has Soaring Flight. Now, Soaring Flight is a new keyword that's used on a ton of cards in this set, and basically when you recruit a hero with Soaring Flight, you set them aside and add them to your next hand. You basically are getting them faster. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Sapien League, I really hate these guys in the comics. They KO a hero, reveal the top card. If it's a henchman, play it. The Brood, about time we see the Brood show up. The Hellfire Cult, these are all henchmen villains. Then we have Murder World with Killer Clowns. Some people are just not going to want to play with this because of how nasty they look. And traps, guillotine roller coaster, monstrous pinball machine. That was a great thing there. And Miss Locke. Then Mojoverse with Spiral. And the TV broadcast and Major and Minor Domos and War Wolves. Then the Hellfire Club with the Phoenix Force is actually a bad guy here. So it dominates all heroes that cost 6 or less. It's a very hard thing to take out. And the different White Queen and Black King and Black Bishop. Then the Dark Descendants Random is someone I really like. I almost wish he was a hero because he was a hero for a while. And different characters from there. These are the guys who work with Onslaught, although they don't post in here for some reason. The Shi'ar Imperial Guard. You can see there's a lot of different bad guys in here. These are the Shadow X. We have Dark Cyclops, Dark Marvel Girl, Dark Beast, Betrayal of the Shadow, Dark Iceman, Dark Angel. And then finally we have the Sisterhood of Mutants with Lady Deathstrike, Lady Mastermind, Selene, Typhoid Mary, and Resurrect Madeline Pryor. So these are all interesting bad guys. There certainly is a lot of them. And not only is there a lot of them, but there are new schemes. So there is quite a few schemes here. How many are there in total? There's 8 new ones. So we have the X-Men Danger Room Goes Berserk, which was a great thing from the comics. We have the Dark Phoenix Saga, Mutant Hunting Super Sentinels. There's even another Master Strike and Scheme Twist in here for some of the masterminds who need them. And a special Master Plan Master Strike that can be added too. Oh, this seems pretty bad for the heroes, but there are good things too. First of all, there are new bystanders. These are the, what do you call them? The New Mutants. So we can, once you rescue these, they become a hero in the set, which is pretty neat. So we got Magic and Cypher and Karma and Magma and Mirage and Sunspot. I was actually a little surprised that they did all these. They're really neat because they have these cool things. The Wolfsbane here has Berserk, Berserk, Berserk on them. Now, Berserk means you flip over the top card and whatever its attack is, you have that attack. So Berserk, Berserk, Berserk means you get to do that 3 times. A really neat, powerful, cool special ability. So I really like having these bystanders become heroes that you can add to your deck. That's a cool thing. These I'll play with every game just because they're fun. But now it's time to look at the heroes themselves. Now, normally when I do heroes, I show all the ones that I like, and I show all the ones I'm not as big of a fan of, up to the ones I just really, really like. But in this particular set, I like all of them. All right, so here we have Longshot, who has the Berserk and could possibly Berserk again. Of course, Longshot is all about luck. Look at the top card of a deck, discard it, put it back, and you can KO the card. Plus, it's a 3 attack. And his big one here, reveal the top card. If it's a villain, put on the bottom, and you get attack equal to the printed victory points of the card you revealed, which can be pretty neat. Psylocke here reveals top card. You can recruit it. She here has Piercing Energy. Now, she has no Piercing Energy, but she can get +1 if another card is played of that type. Piercing Energy can attack a villain based on their victory points. So when you're attacking a villain, rather than using their regular attack, so let's say you're attacking the Shi'ar Patrol Craft, it would only take 1 to take it out because that's the victory point on it. Typhoid Mary here would take 3 to take her out. So Psylocke here has a Psychic Energy and possibly could be 1 victory point. So pretty easy to take things like that out. But then she also has this Butterfly Effect card, which starts with 2 of that Piercing Energy and could have a third one, which can kill a lot of things. And her big one here is a 3 Piercing Energy, reveal the top card of the hero deck, and someone gets it. So that's great. Cannonball has Soaring Flight, so almost all his cards get to go to your hand right away. I shouldn't say almost all his cards. All his cards do. And his regular one, a 4 attack, and if he played 6 other cards, it's +2. Not that amazing, but the fact that you can get it right away is pretty handy. We have another version of Beast here who can go Berserk, Berserk. Look at this one's nice, Calculated Rage. Look at the top card of your deck, discard it, put it back, and then Berserk. So you can look at the card and say, oh, that's great, I'll use it for Berserk, or discard it and hope the next one is better. And then his main attack here, which by the way has X Gene on it, lets him return a 0, 3, and 4 card cost to your hand. And it's a Berserk. X gene means is a card of that type in your discard pile. That's all. Here, all he needs is an X-Men card in his discard pile. So that's pretty easy. But you'll see X gene cards show up over the course of this game. Here's more piercing energy with Polaris and soaring flight. So she and X gene. So you'll see that a lot of these keywords are used over and over again on these people. This one here is a 4 money, and she can use money's attack this turn or vice versa, which is really neat. Then we have X-23, one of the new most popular characters in the comic book. So we have X-Gene draw a card, KO a wound, go berserk, and then her big card is berserk, berserk. And then you count the number of attack cards in your discard pile, berserk that many times. That's crazy awesome. Heir to Wolverine. Kitty Pryde, one of my favorite superheroes. She gets here. She gets +1 attack for the different costs among the heroes in the headquarters, so that could be pretty big. Here, she can put a card in the headquarters in the bottom of the deck. If it's money, she gets +2 money. If it's fighting, she gets +2 fighting. And her soaring flight card, her big card, put a card from the headquarters in the bottom of the hero deck, and you get attack equal to its cost. So she could have up to an 8 or 9 attack with that. Then we have Havoc, who has Light Show. Now, Light Show is an interesting thing. Light Show, when you play them, you can use one of the abilities on all the Light Show cards that you've played. And they all kind of work off each other, except for Havoc's here. Havoc just gets a +3, the attack that can only be used against the Mastermind. He also has Berserk, Berserk, and X-Gene, and then more Berserk and X-Gening. But then Dazzler has Light Show. So, again, look at her Light Show. Here you get +2 attack. Here you get +1 piercing for each Light Show card you played this turn. That's pretty powerful. So if you played the Havoc card, this one and this one, this would be 3 piercing. But remember, you can only use one of your Light Show things. When you draw a new hand of cards at the end of this turn, draw 2 extra cards. Put a hero from the headquarters on top of your deck. That's really cool. And it's also a 5 attack. Jubilee also has Light Show here. +1 attack for every Light Show card that you played. +1 money for every Light Show card you played in your big one. +1 attack and +1 money for each Light Show card you played this turn. And it's 5 attack. So really neat stuff. And hey, it's Jubilee. Then we have Aurora and North Star. They're a combo, and so they get one of these double cards. These were introduced in the previous set. When you play them, you just use one of the 2 sides. So do you want 2 with a Light Show, or do you want 2 with a Berserk, to attack with a Berserk? And then Twin Blast. Then we have Fastball Special. This is Colossus and Wolverine together, and I really like that combination. It's a lot of fun, and they also have a duplicate card here, which is either attack or money. This one's funny. Do you want 2 money, or do you want 1 attack and then Berserk, Berserk? But you might need the money occasionally, but you're probably going to use the Berserking. And then their big card is Berserk, 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 and then draw a card for each card you Berserked. That's crazy awesome. Legion, all his cards are double cards because of his mixed up mind. So he has Berserk, or he has Light Show. Here he has regular attack or piercing energy. Here he can draw 2 cards or get 1 for each different hero class in your discard pile. His main card, though, all together, Soaring Flight, draw the top 3 cards. You get their total attack, put them on the bottom of the hero deck. Pretty powerful. Banshee has a lot of Soaring Flight and piercing energy. His cards are all about piercing energy. And his big one, his Bone Shattering Howl. If he has these proper symbols, he could use attack as if it was piercing energy this turn, which is crazy powerful, but you got to set up that combination to make sure it happens. And then finally, Phoenix. She has some very powerful cards. KO cards, draw 2 cards, put a hero that was KO'd in your discard pile. Here's a 4 piercing energy, but you can only use it once. So you can put it in your hand next turn and probably kill any person on the board. And then her big card, which is probably going to make some people angry. Berserk, 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 Berserk. Every card you did is KO'd, +6 attack. And if you got at least 13 attack, then you become a bad guy. Everyone else in the game loses. You'll have to decide whether you want to play with that one or not. This is my favorite expansion ever for X-Men, or for the Marvel Legendary. I'm calling it for X-Men. But man, first of all, I've always liked the X-Men. I've always liked this particular group of X-Men. Having Jubilee and having Banshee in there and playing against Mojo and then the bystanders who become heroes and really nasty villains, although they're really hard. May not have beaten any of them yet, but I really like that they can become even harder. The horror thing is kind of like, well, whatever. I guess some people wanted the Marvel Legendary to be harder. Yes, with these heroes, especially if you mix them, like if you pick like a bunch with Light Show in there, you can really get some powerful combinations in there. But they're just overall more powerful. That Jean Grey card where you can win the whole game by yourself, that will probably cause controversy, and you could just not play with it. But putting it in there goes, it could be super interesting if we could use that to take out the big bad boss. Having Onslaught, which was kind of a buzzkill, the actual final battle with Onslaught, but the Onslaught building up to Onslaught in the comics was very intriguing, and having him as a villain is cool. And Dark Phoenix, come on, Dark Phoenix, it's really neat. So if you like the 90s X-Men, whether it's the cartoon or the comic book, or even if you like the movies a lot and you want to see a lot of these X-Men, this has all that in there. But not just does it have favorite characters that I like, there's just a lot of cool mechanisms. I like the have a card in your discard pile thing. I like the Light Show and the combination of how those work. Berserk is super fun because it's a little bit random as to what cards come up, but it also makes building your deck more intriguing, and it's just a fun power. It's like, we're going Berserk now on the bad guys. And just the classic bad guys with these easy abilities, but a whole lot of them. I guess the biggest problem with this game would be, right, you need to have the rules for this game nearby because you probably forget what they all do if they show up. Let's say you just put one of the heroes in this deck with something else, like, what does X-Gene do again? What does Berserk do again? But if you play with just the stuff in the set, and you easily could, right, there's a lot in here, then I think you would really enjoy it more. This is a set that's very much internal to some degree because it's so much fun to play the heroes in this set against the villains in this set. But they do mix well with everything else. You get a ton of content in here. I'm never going to be able to play everything for Legendary at this point and all the different combinations. It's impossible. But I would have been worried over the past couple sets because they've been doing such weird stuff and weird characters. And I'd be like, why won't they do some of the most basic heroes? Well, now they have. Yay! Legendary X-Men. Get it? Dice Tower Judgment. Amazing!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Shut the door!